Boston Comic-Con, presented by Chevy.
Here's a question. What's the most enduring pop cultural phenomenon of the late 20th century? I'll give you a hint. Right? I know it seems like Star Trek is everywhere these days, but it actually hasn't been on TV in over 12 years. All right, except for between 7 p.m. and midnight on the Heroes and Icons network. But you know what I meant. I'm talking about the new Star Trek. Star Trek Discovery comes out this fall.
The Popnology exhibit at the Museum of Science is all about exploring the fusion of science fiction and science fact.
So there must be some Star Trek in here, right?
We are looking for Star Trek. Where is the Star Trek in this exhibit? Uh-oh. Here we go. HAL 9000.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal. It's so hard to get good help these days.
Ah, yes. Here we go. My man, Mr. William Shatner. Here we have the Motorola StarTech 1996, and it was notable because it was designed to look exactly like a Star Trek communicator from the original series, where the clamshell flipped up.
Do you want to see it?
Perfect example of how life can imitate art.
Are you a Star Trek fan?
Well, I gotta say that I'm more of a Star Wars person.
Star Trek versus just the prequels. Which one do you prefer? Yeah.
You know the answer to that, man.
Exactly. Yeah. Star Trek, what are you hoping to see in the new series?
Well, I'm hoping to see a lot of space.
Look out the window, there's gonna be space.
What do you think that Star Trek Discovery can do to be relevant in today's world?
I am at the edge of my seat excited for it because I feel now we need Star Trek more than ever.
It presents a future, but it also does a social commentary of things that we can reach and do now.
And the exploration is not for conquering purposes.
Sure.
We're out here to explore.
This is what I really look forward to in Discovery, is that it shows you what humanity can do when given the technology to do it.
And it was doing it during a very tense time.
Putting that lens of what's happening politically in the United States today on the show, you could argue that the show is more relevant now than it's ever been. When Star Trek first appeared on television in 1966, there was the Vietnam War, and there was the civil rights protests, and there was lots of social upheaval, and there were fears about environmentalism and the sort of destruction of the planet. And I think that today, this new version that's going to be coming out may be dealing with the same issues. The show had a way of exploring questions about what was happening in American culture and American politics. War and peace, multiculturalism, feminism, racism, imperialism. And each of those shows were kind of like these hour-long thought experiments in how you might solve or confront this problem.
Change is the essential process of all existence.
Star Trek has always paralleled in some way the issues going on in that society.
It broke a lot of barriers. First interracial kiss, showing a racially diverse cast. You had Americans and Russians working together.
I'm proud of what I am. I believe in what I do.
And that was a backstory they didn't even need to explain.
We're Earthlings.
We're Earthlings.
Nichelle Nichols was planning to leave the show, and Dr. Martin Luther King met with her personally and said, this has an impact, and what you're doing is important. What you're doing will have a lasting effect, and you should really consider staying with the series. It was that deep.
American culture tells us it's all about you and everyone's in it for themselves, and I think Star Trek tried a little bit to get Americans to look at this a little bit differently.
May we together become greater than the sum of both of us.
Star Trek is really not so much the future we will see, but the future we can have. But at the same time, we still have cool laser shootouts. And that's something I feel that Discovery can really take to the next level in not just the cultural zeitgeist, but I hate to say the dystopian future we're already living in.
Why are these people in here? Are they criminals?
Just people.
I think the broader lesson of Star Trek is this notion of hope. Yes, we will struggle, wars will be fought, blood will be shed, but that ultimately, when it's all said and done, we don't have to fear the unknown.
In our century, we've learned not to fear words.
People are starting to not see work that's escapist as necessarily non-political. Imagining worlds that you then create down to the detail is of course informed by a sense of social and political realities. What would a better world look like, right? It might look like this. What would a worse world look like? So I think anytime you're doing that kind of world making, it's a political act that can't help but be related to your sense of contemporary circumstance.
And those epic journeys are fanciful, but they're a mirror image of what we struggle with in our own lives, just without the cool outfits.
So that's it for us. I'll see you at the con. Unless you're watching this after the con, in which case it's the future. Anyway, I hope the future's good. Bye.
I don't know why anybody has named their AI Siri or Cortana. I don't know why they don't name it computer, because everybody would be excited about that.
Hello, computer.
I'd definitely be sitting in my car. Computer, could you tell me how to get to Mass Ave? That would be amazing.
Everyone's favorite Star Trek film with the space whales.
That is shockingly most people's favorites. When I ask them, they are always about it.
It's the one where they have to save the world by going back in time to the 80s to capture a bunch of humpback whales.
A lot of people's favorite movie.
For all you Trekkies out there, you can catch every single iteration of Star Trek on the Heroes and Icons station on Channel 38.2 or on your local cable provider. Brought to you by the all-new 2018 Chevy Equinox. Check out Chevy's comic-covered cars at Boston Comic-Con, August 11th through the 13th at Boston Convention Center. 2018 Equinox. Everything you need to do everything you want.